be doing the Bloody Devil Guro Lolita DIY, where we are going to make a bracelet and necklace set. I go by Cursed Kaiser on Instagram, but yeah, I think we can just jump right in unless anyone has any questions or anything like that right now. Feel free to just drop them in the chat in the comments. So we can start the video. Cool. So here are your list of materials. You're going to have your jewelry findings, the clasps, the wires. We're also going to have the gemstones. So these are all various sized rhinestones. And then you're going to also have your teardrop beads and your bicubic beads. For the supply list, I recommended that you guys get a syringe. I'm going to be using this kind of like glue picker thing instead, but the syringe is easier for applying the E6000. Then this is the rhinestone picker. So you're going to use these to pick up rhinestones. Then this is the hole punch, and the hole punch has various sizes. This is a really good tool just to have at home in general. Then we're going to be using E6000, the curling pliers, scissors, the other pair of pliers, and then we're also going to have the cutting pliers. So voila, this is all our supplies. Oh, well, half of our supplies. Then here we're gonna have the actual jelly paper. There's different colors that you can use, which will be really nice. Then you have your pattern, which you can get a printout of. It's a bit more detailed than what I'm showing here, so you'll be able to follow along. And then you'll have these horns as well to customize. These are from Beastly Boutique. And they have a really cool elastic on them, so they're easy to put on. And yeah, that should be all of your supplies now. So first, you're going to put your pattern under the jelly sheet and then take a Sharpie, and you're going to actually start drawing and copying the pattern that's underneath it. The clear material is really nice and really easy to read the pattern from under. And you don't have to only make it in the red color. I think the jelly sheet that I included in the supply list had a lot of different colors, like black and clear and things like that. But for this one, we're going to do the red colorway. So you're going to sit down and you're going to trace over every single little drop. You try to trace on the outside of the pattern, not on the inside, just so that you have more, you don't cut too much into the actual jelly material. You can use a straight edge. I kind of just freehanded it to do that edge at the top because I'm going to cut it with a straight edge and scissors, so it'll stay pretty straight. Then you're going to move to the bracelet pattern. So you're going to trace over the bracelet pattern. Remember to stay on the outside of the pattern lines. Yeah, and for this one, I'm going to do 2 bracelets. You'll see it, but I'm going to only show you how to make one because you're going to basically copy the process twice. Then you're going to get your scissors and you're going to start cutting. The first thing that you're going to want to do is actually cut everything into rectangles. It'll make kind of cutting the drippy material or the drippy pattern a little bit easier if you cut out rectangles at first and get the pieces to be a little bit smaller. So you're going to cut the bracelet, the necklace, and there you go. So first you're going to do the straight edge. The straight edge is pretty easy. You just do the chop motion with the scissors. That's pretty straightforward. Then when you get to this part, which is a little bit more challenging part, when you're cutting curves with paper and just thin materials, what you want to do is actually turn the material up against the blade while you slowly cut down. You don't want to do the chopping motion because you'll get really, really choppy kind of finish, which it's not going to look too good. It doesn't have to be perfect, but definitely curve the material. When you feel like your hands are getting a little bit fatigued, because you'll see in a second, you can just cut straight down and cut off like what I just did. And then, you can see it's looking really nice so far. And then you're going to continue cutting the drippy material. So remember, just turn the material into the blade and curve it. And so you're just going to keep curving and cutting, and take your time. If you're really, really hesitant or you're scared that you might mess up, I would recommend practicing on paper first. That's kind of how I learned how to do these things. So definitely practice on paper if you're unsure. You can trace the patterns, print them out, cut them a bunch of times, and then when you're ready, you can finally move on to the final material, which is this like vinyl jelly sheet. So yeah, and another really important thing is try to keep the material out of the blade. So like when you're cutting, don't let it like interfere with the blade while you're cutting these curves, because what's going to happen is going to get stuck and then you're going to get a jagged edge. So you don't want that to happen. Yeah. So I'm just cutting away. You're going to probably watch me cut for a little while on this part. Yeah. Whoa. Thank you. I'm glad you like my nails. But yeah, I would love to see if people did this in different colorways. I think that would be really, really fun and amazing to see it like in a green or like, you know, something else. Oh, you went for green jelly paper? Nice. Yeah, I think that's gonna look really cool. So if you all do versions, please feel free to tag me and like tell me, you know, or show me what you've done. Can I tell you? Oh, more about myself. So I am a Lolita. I also I work as a toy designer, actually. That's like my day job, and I dress up, you know, with Lolita on the side for fun. Right now I'm based in New England kind of area by Providence. Yeah, I really like to dress mostly in Gothic Lolita. But I try lots of different styles outside of Lolita and try to mix and match and just do like, you know, try to make fun, cool looks. So this making these things kind of comes from the fact that I'm a designer. So I really sat here and thought about like, oh, what would be easy for someone to make that would look really cool and the materials are easily available, because it kind of overlaps with what I would be doing with my job too. I think having a design mentality, regardless of what industry you work in, helps when you want to create really fun things like this. So I'm cutting the bracelet. I think I'm almost done cutting the bracelet. Yeah. And so, yeah, what else can I say about myself? Oh yeah, it's my birthday today. I could say that. I'm a Halloween baby. But yeah. So next you're going to take alcohol, actually, and that's to get the Sharpie off. So you're going to take the cotton pad and the alcohol, and you're going to start rubbing off all of the Sharpie that you just made. So don't be alarmed about the Sharpie. You can totally get this stuff off for really easily with the alcohol on the vinyl sheets. Yeah. So in general, like, yeah, cleaning up will be really, what did I get for my birthday? I got a lot of stuff for my birthday. But yeah. Oh, next part is, so you're gonna wanna lay out the beads. So just so you know, when I was making this video, I was kind of designing as I was going along. If you look at your pattern, the pattern tells you the exact number of bicubic beads and teardrop beads that you would need for each section of the necklace. So you kind of just see me like laying everything out. And just figuring out what I wanted it to look like aesthetically. In this one, I think was 5 teardrop beads, and in the final version that I posted, there ended up being 6 because I felt like it was a little off balance as far as the design was concerned. Yeah, so I'm just gonna like plan out what I want it to look like, and then I'm going to grab, I think, the hole punch to start making the holes in this. But first, I'm gonna mark where the holes kind of belong. And just, yeah, I'm just laying it out. I'm like, oh, hole punch. But yeah, you're going to take hole punch, and then you're going to go to the smallest hole. So you're going to turn it, and you're going to hear it click every time it turns. So you turn and you click and you click and you click and you go to the smallest one. This tool is really good because if you ever have like belts that you need to make holes in, this is like perfect for that. So yeah, I'm going to start making the holes that the jump rings are going to go through. First, I'm going to actually mark with a Sharpie, because again, you can either like take it off with alcohol. So don't be alarmed about marking this up with Sharpie, because it comes off really easily. So now that I've marked where I'm going to make holes, I'm going to start punching holes in each like drip area where the jump ring is going to go. So you can see there's like holes there. Yeah. Thanks for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. I got really good cake on my birthday, which was nice. And I'm glad to be spending it with lots of people today, actually, including all of you. So yay. I'm going to also mark where the jump rings go on the edge of each one, and make a hole there too, because that's where the chain is going to go into. I kind of goofed, and then I was like, oh, I gotta make the hole in the right place. So make sure when you make the holes that it's not too far away from the edge of the vinyl, because the jump rings, you're gonna need really big jump rings if you make it really far away from the edge. If you make it a little bit closer, not too close where it's gonna rip, you should be good. So just watch your spacing. On the pattern, it indicates where you can cut the hole as well. Then you're gonna take your pliers and you're going to start kind of grabbing the jump rings and applying the jump rings onto the actual necklace, and you're going to start the beading process. So for the teardrop beads, the jump rings that I had were a little bit too small. So what I did was I kind of made my own jump rings. So that's what the process that you see me doing here, where I'm basically just curving the metal and applying the beads onto it. So one thing, I gave you two options for buying the beads. There is these glass beads, which I think are absolutely beautiful, but they're really, really fragile. So when you're putting in the jump rings, just be really careful. If you feel like you have to force it, then don't force it, because it will break. So just be really, really conscientious of that when you're working on it. Alternatively, I put in like these faceted teardrop beads that are made out of plastic, and those are really good. So if you force it or whatever, it will not break. It won't have any issue. But personally, I really like the look of these like glass ones, because they kind of look like drippy, like blood. And they have like a nice sheen to them. So I already put all of the jump rings on all of the beads, the teardrop beads. And now I'm going to start putting jump rings onto the actual necklace. So you'll see me here like applying each jump ring over and over again. The vinyl material is not very fragile, so that's like a really good thing. So you don't have to worry about it breaking too easily or anything like that. So you're going to see me position everything. The pattern will tell you where to make the holes and like how many, segments do you need. And you can modify the pattern as you want. So if you want even more drips, more, like if you wanted to do every single drip had like string of beads and you have beads across the entire necklace, that would look super cool. So feel free to like modify it any way that you want. And it's like really, really fun kind of pattern. Yeah, the punch tool is if you don't own one, buy a punch tool. It is a lifesaver if you ever have to fix a handbag or anything with like, I don't know, thick material that you need to make holes in. So here you're going to see me actually start putting the bicubic beads on the wires. So you're going to have these wires that have loops on the end. You're going to put the bicubic bead down on it, and then you're going to make an L shape. So you'll see the L shape. You make the L shape, and then you're going to actually twist and like curve. So you use the curling pliers to kind of curve it into a loop to match the loop on the other end. And you're going to make, I think about, I want to say maybe 10 of these you're going to make for both of the pieces. You're going to open up the loop. You're going to put it onto the actual jump ring that is on the necklace already. And then you're going to like close the loop and then start making every single segment with the beads. So that's like the first segment that you're going to make. Then you're going to make another one. So if you're not familiar with curling and making the L shapes, that's like the most important part about curling the wire is making that L shape. So you're going to want to make the L shape, and then you're going to make into a loop. Always use the very top of the pliers, the curling pliers, if you want to make small loops, and then use the bottom part of the curling pliers if you want to make big loops. So for this one, we're making big loops, and we're going to use the top. You're going to see me cut, again, the wire, and then you're going to see me grab it and kind of like just curl it down into that kind of hoop shape. And you're going to do this like several times with the necklace. But yeah, I tried to pick different materials that I feel like people would be able to use better. So don't if you're unsure, especially with the glass and the plastic beads, if this is the first time you're doing this, I would recommend the plastic beads for sure, just to kind of get familiar with it. And this thing, like you can sit here and practice. This is a good skill to have anyway, because basically I used to break a lot of jewelry. So it was nice to kind of have a little jewelry kit at home as well, because anytime, if a necklace breaks or anything happens, this is like really, really easy to fix any type of jewelry that you may have around the house with this like toolkit. It's like a beginner kit too. So it has like everything you would need to kind of fix and repair or like make jewelry. So last, I'm going to put the bead on there, and then you'll see like that first segment is done. I'm going to continue to do this for other places, for the other segments. And oh yeah, so there's a question, which is, do you have recommendations for places to buy supplies in person? Yeah, you can buy this if you can go to a Michael's. Michael's usually carries all these things. I think a Joann's may carry it. Just most like big box stores carry some kind of like jewelry. I think Target may have it as well. If you wanted to buy the things in person, you can also see if there's like a jewelry or a craft shop near you that sells them, because it's pretty like standard supplies, and it's really, really easy to get. Yeah. So yeah, if you all make this, please tag me. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so it says for our non-US viewers, Michael's and Joanna's are big generic craft stores. So yeah, if you have any generic craft stores near you, because I just realized some of you may be tuning in internationally. I'm not sure what the equivalent is, but I actually feel like there's more craft stores abroad than there tends to be stateside. So I feel like it'd be pretty easy to kind of nail down these supplies. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Just like gonna be running through this part where I'm putting together the rest of the segments. Oh no, there's Michael and Joanne's discourse. Stan Joanne's for good skin. Michael's is bae. I love that's amazing. I kind of like came up with the idea for this design because I really like those like blood drip necklaces, but I don't like the super plasticky ones that look like real blood. So I wanted to make like a really cool, version of, or my take on what those things are. Oh, I'm tempted to make a halo drippy. Oh, do you want to make like a drippy halo? I want to see whatever you make. Please tag me. I would love to see whatever this inspires you to create. Like, please just like absolutely flood my mentions. Yeah. So I'm just finishing up, like, kind of stringing all the beads together. These were on the pattern. There's only these 3 sections that have the beads being strung together. Then the rest will be just me applying the teardrop bead directly to the jump ring, which is pretty straightforward. You basically open up the jump ring. Your bead should already have the jump rings on it. So you just like jump ring, and boom, you're gonna have really cool, cute, drippy bead. Be very gentle though with the glass beads. Once they're on, they're fine, but just, as far as like when you're handling them with the metal and the jump rings, the top can kind of snap. I may recommend a different type too, because I know there's ones that have the hole that goes straight down the bead instead of horizontally. It basically goes down vertically, and that would be good. Oh, holographic. Oh, a holographic. That would be really cool to do a holographic version of this. You could do like pastel version too, because you can get like a pastel pink, and then you can get the beads in pink. Like I would love to see like all the variations of this item. Yeah. So this is kind of what it looks like when you're done with the beading part. Next, we're going to start doing the rhinestoning. So you're going to get your rhinestone picker, and you're going to kind of like lay it out. So again, I was designing this as I was working on it. But on your pattern, it actually tells you exactly the placement and like the exact placement and then size. So you'll see like little gray circles on the pattern, and the circles are different sizes. So all you have to do is match the circles. Would this material be sturdy enough for a belt? I think if it was a belt for show, like just to wear, yes. But I think you would need I would say a thicker chain for like the back part that's gonna hold it together. It's PVC, so it's kind of hard to rip and things like that. Just make sure you find like the appropriate findings for it to be a belt and to be sturdy as far as like a belt is concerned, because the chain that I have here is not, it's really for like necklace wearing. It's not for wearing belts, but I think it would look really cool as a belt as well. Oh, so many good ideas. I'm like, wow, you're all so creative. Yeah, I might have missed it, but this material branded as jelly paper, right? Yeah, it's branded as, so you can find it under probably 3 names and different thicknesses as well. Jelly paper is the easiest one to find, but you can also look it up under vinyl or PVC. So you can just look up like clear vinyl, like clear red vinyl fabric or material, because this material, it looks flat right now. You'll see it later, it curves, but I think it is called like jelly paper or jelly sheets. All of those terms you can look up and you'll get results. And then there's also different thicknesses of the jelly sheets. 30, I think goes up to 40 gauge, which like 40 gauge in red is a little bit difficult to find. You may have to order it from abroad. You can't really find that one in store, but the 30 gauge might be really good for like actually making a belt, because it's really sturdy and thick. But when you cut it, you may not be able to use scissors. So instead, I think you should use an X-Acto knife or a blade cutter, just to get all those curves and things like that, and not kind of, you don't want the material to chew up your scissors when you're cutting into it. So there's, 30 gauge. This gauge that we're using is really, I think it's like a 10 gauge, if I'm not mistaken, or 12 gauge. So it's pretty thin. But yeah, if you look up jelly sheets, it usually pops up in the search almost anywhere. They sell it on Etsy, like everyone sells it. They usually use this material to make like cheerleading head bows. So yeah, it's really cool. You can find different thicknesses of it. So if you feel like you want to use it like for example, like a belt, or if you wanted to make, I don't know, some like maybe a harness or something, you would get a thicker gauge. So yeah. Oh yeah. Drippy head bows. Oh, that should be the next tutorial. Maybe doing Lolita drippy head bows. That sounds really cute too. Maybe that could be the next one. Yeah. So, whoops. Yeah, that's like the major things. I'm just like slowly setting out the crystals in this one, but because you don't have to follow the pattern. So if you're unsure about like the crystal placement, you want to alter it, this is like really good practice. You can just like kind of put them down on there and see what they look like before you apply the glue. Yeah, and oh yeah, that would be so cool as a harness. Like, there's like such good ideas. Like if you go harness, you could do like a whole line of vinyl PVC drippy blood things. I see. Like, what tool are you using to apply the crystals here? So it is called a rhinestone picker, is like the name of it. So what it does is it has like 2 sticky ends, a big sticky end and a small sticky end for really small crystals. On the supply list, it's on there too for you to purchase. What it does is that you basically like if you ever try to pick up rhinestones that are really small, it's like almost impossible. So you use this stick and you kind of just like, it's a little sticky on the end. So I think some of them are also sometimes made of wax, and it helps you pick up the rhinestones and helps like, so you can place the rhinestones also when you're, so it's just sticky enough to pick it up, but not so sticky that when you push it down on like a dot of glue, it won't release. So it'll release itself when you do that, which is really, really good. Yeah, tweezers are insanely like, yeah, like I would use tweezers maybe to like, once you put the glue down, like to kind of position the rhinestone, but I wouldn't use it to pick up the rhinestone because it's really, really difficult. But yeah, so I think on the supply list I gave you, I put the E6000 with the syringe. So all you have to do is literally screw the syringe onto the E6000 tube, and then you just squeeze it and like a dot of glue comes out. If you don't have that, or let's say you have these materials at home or something similar to it, With E6000, it's good to use metal when you're trying to apply the glue. So what I do is I grab a little bit of glue from the tube, I put a dot down on the vinyl, and then I put a rhinestone on top of that. So you just do that over and over again. So here you see, like, I'm putting the glue on the metal rod, I'm putting a dot down, and I'm also twisting it to kind of help get the glue off that metal piece. And then I'm going to use the picker to pick it up and then place the rhinestone down on top of the glue. And you can see me just like push it down. Tweezers would be good if you wanted to use tweezers. The other end of my little rhinestone picker, the smaller side, is actually not sticky anymore. So I use it to push down the rhinestone and position it where I would like to put it. But yeah, the syringe is way easier. It's I think it's more user friendly if you haven't done this before. I've done like applying rhinestones to things, so I kind of know a little bit more about how you do it. But if you're not like super pro with working with E6000, I definitely recommend that rhinestone kind of kit, gemtak. I think you can use gemtak instead of E6000. Or E3000. It's E6000, but yeah, I think you can use gemtak. I think gemtak is also a really good alternative. I think it's a little bit less toxic than E6000. I will say, like, one thing about E6000 is you should probably either sit by a window that has air flowing in and out, or wear a respirator or something when you're handling this, because it can be pretty like toxic, actually. Yeah, exactly. Gemtak. This E6000 actually doesn't cause the plastic to fog in this case. But you're absolutely right. If you use something like a Gorilla Glue or super glue to do this, your plastic is going to get really nasty and foggy. So I totally agree with DBOR, like, that you should stay away from super glues. This E6000 actually does not fog the plastic, but I'm not so sure, like, if it's, because I work with plastics actually for my job, but it's sometimes the type of plastic that you're using. So if it's like PP or anything like that. Anyway, so yeah, these are like the finished kind of necklace now that all the rhinestones have been put on. And then we also have the bracelet, which you're going to follow the same process that you did with the necklace for the bracelet. And then you're going to put the jump rings on the ends, because at this point you're going to start attaching the chain onto it so that you can actually wear it. If I know people have different neck circumferences, so I think it's a 13 inch. Is it 13? No, sorry. It's 10.5 inches, the length. And then I use the chain so you see it around here. But you may, if your neck circumference is larger, you may need to alter the pattern. If anyone ends up needing, I would definitely make this pattern out of paper first, just to make sure that it fits you. But if anyone ends up needing a larger pattern, please send me a message, and I will create a larger like pattern. Like, tell me what your neck circumference is, and I'll make the pattern for various sizes, and then I can re-upload and reshare that, so that anyone who has, because I think my neck circumference is 14 inches. So this you can always make the chain longer in the back, but definitely let me know if you end up needing a larger pattern, and I'll modify the pattern and send it to you. That's like no problem. Yeah, so I'm putting on the clasps now after I've attached the chain. You're gonna basically, like, I have to use 2 pairs of pliers to do this. So one to hold and one to kind of clasp down. The pliers I'm using is not on the supply list, but if you ever have to close a jump ring, if you see the plier on the inside, it has like these indents in it. It's so that you can close round shapes easier if you find that it's slipping a little bit too much. So now that I attached the chain to the necklace, and you can kind of see how it looks. Then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to customize our horns. So these are from Beastly Boutique, but you can get any horns at all from any store, any place, anything that you prefer. It's just so you can have a matching set of like devil horns with this. So I'm going to take the E6000 and I'm going to put some on the metal rod again and then start applying dots of glue onto the horns. So with E6000, because it takes a while to dry, you can take like 5 minutes in between applying glue and sticking things on. No problem. It usually takes, for it to fully cure, it takes about 24 hours. So I would definitely, like, after you create this, wait, maybe 24 hours before you decide to wear it, because you may end up having some gems missing otherwise. Yeah, Beastly Boutique is a very, very, very good. They make some really, really nice horns, and they have some really unique shapes, and they're pretty affordable too. I just didn't put it on the list because I was concerned that you wouldn't be able to get it in time for Halloween if you ordered. But you can always order a pair later. So what you're gonna do is you're going to start putting little dots of E6000 onto the horns, and you can arrange it any way you want. If you want to cover the entire horn in like jewels, totally fine. That would look cool too. I just did it kind of a little bit more sparingly, so I didn't put it everywhere. Where's the gold ring from? So the gold ring is actually, the gold ring is from a brand that I don't make stuff for it as much anymore, but I had a brand called Celestial Circus. And I made those rings for a Halloween event back when I was living in LA. So I drew the art and everything and kind of assembled it myself. So that's where the jewelry making also comes from. I used to have a brand where I used to sell like brooches and necklaces and rosettes and stuff like that. I may open it up again, but I'm not sure. I personally, one of the reasons why I had never sold that ring was because I know that gluing metal bases onto acrylic, like I was always scared of it snapping off and breaking on customers. So if anyone has any good tips on how to get like a metal base onto an acrylic plastic ring without, having any issues with the glue breaking, let me know. That's the one that I'm trying to figure out before I ever open up my store again. But yeah, you can follow the store on Instagram or the shop. It's called Celestial Circus. So yeah. And maybe if I open up again, then I guess if you follow, you'll be the first to know. But yeah, it's like a crystal ball ring. Yeah, it was like one of my favorite designs, but I was always concerned that it would break on customers. So I never like formally released it. But I think a lot of people who went to that event got that. It was a freebie at the event, which was really cool. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to put the dots on the horns. And you can see, yeah, you just wait for it to get a little bit tacky and you stick everything on. It's pretty straightforward, and then it looks really, really cool once it's all finished up. But yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, comments about making this this really cute devil set. Yeah. 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 Why am I so cool? Thank you. I'm just a humble potato. I am a humble potato. Oh, so how's your first snowy Halloween? Oh, I loved it. I'm originally from New York and I lived in LA for 8 years, and I moved back to the East Coast because I really wanted to see the snow again. So it made me like super happy. All my coworkers were sending, because they know I love the snow, they sent me a bunch of images of their yards and the trees and the foliage and how it's just covered in snow. It looks so cool. I was like absolutely in love. So yeah, I kind of was like, yeah, snow, New England snow. I'm ready for this. Like, this is what I'm here for. But I know some people who are like, snow. I'm very like, I love the snow. I'm like, snow, fall, the whole season. Yeah, it doesn't snow that much in the Bronx. That's what, yeah, I wish it snowed in the Bronx. It's true, it doesn't snow that much in the Bronx, and I really love the snow. So like growing up in the Bronx too, I was like, oh, it doesn't snow that much. But there was like a couple really, really crazy blizzards that kind of blew through New York. I remember making like an igloo in the snow basically and playing outside. Yeah. Yeah, when it snows, it's like, whoa. It's kind of insane. They don't give you snow days though in New York, which is kind of lame. Like it's really difficult. Like it will be like horrible outside and they're like, nope, you need to come into school. No snow days ever. No matter how bad the snow was. Epoxy. Oh, I never thought of that's pretty smart. So it says for the ring, besides scorching both surfaces and making a bond area bigger, there's not much you can do, but 2-part epoxy is the strongest adhesive for a plastic to metal bond. Wow, okay, I'm gonna try that. If I try that and it works and I feel confident, then maybe I will sell the rings after all. Because I still have a lot of the components at home to make it. I just I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that 2-part epoxy. That sounds like a really, really good tip. Thank you so much. Is it Whiteley Thade? Thank you. I really appreciate that tip. Oh my God. Yeah, they do not shut down anything in New York. They do not care. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I want to make more designs. I just yeah, I think I want to revisit the brand. Hopefully I can. Since we're about the same neck size, where does the necklace and the chain begins? What is the wrist circumference? Oh, okay. So this is how it looks finished. Sorry, I just want to show it on video. That's a really, really good question. The necklace ends, I think the necklace is like another 4 inches, 3.5, 4 inches, at least for the chain. And then the wrist circumference, I don't have it measured off the top of my head. I think it's about 4 inches, if I'm not mistaken. I can bust out a ruler later and put the measurements on the actual pattern. But yeah, I think it's about 4 inches for that. And then you add the chain. The chain's like another like 2 inches. Yeah. So yeah. Any other questions? Because that's it. That's a tutorial. That's how you do it. That's how you make your little bloody Guro inspired accessory. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Do you have any Halloween costume plans? I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out if like for tonight I can make something really quick with what's in my closet. Because I'm trying to figure out like, oh, do I have to buy a costume or can I just make something in my closet? Maybe I'll do like some bloody vampire nurse thing. Oh, where are your vampire teeth from? Oh, they're from Scarecrow? They're from Scarecrow and they are the mini fangs because the really, really big fangs, I have like, my teeth are a little bit small. So the mini fangs are the ones that these are, and they're from Scarecrow, but they have bigger ones as well. They make like a standard size. Bloody vampire nurse. Okay, bloody vampire nurse it is. So that's what I'm gonna be tonight. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, so I don't know. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Like if there's any more questions or anything like that. I know we had like we have like at least maybe an hour, but if we end early, I think that's okay too. Yeah, anything else? Oh, whoops. Yeah, so we can just talk. What about you? What are you guys gonna wear for your Halloween costumes? Like any plans? I know most of us, at least stateside, are probably staying home, hopefully. But yeah, if you want to tell me about your costumes or anything like that, sounds good. So I'll be bloody vampire nurse tonight. What would you recommend for doing this as a ring? That's a good question. I think you can still use the vinyl sheet, but I wonder. I think what you can do is just basically like do the vinyl sheet for your ring size, and then just put a jump ring on both ends to connect it so it curves. And then I think that would be a good idea. So just put like one jump ring to connect both sides and then wrap it around your finger. You probably might have to modify the pattern a little bit, but yeah. Oh, one really, really big last thing is please make these. You can give them to your friends, you can give them as gifts and things like that, but please do not replicate and try to sell this thing, because I worked really hard on this design. So please just keep that in mind. It's totally like free use. You could do whatever you want with it, but please do not use it for commercial purposes. But yeah, totally fine to gift it to your friends, give it to each other, make stuff for your other friends, stuff like that. But please do not sell them in a store or try to sell them. I know I can't like prevent everyone from doing everything, but yeah, exactly. That's really rude. So please don't do that. Or, you know, that's my one request is please have fun with this, go crazy, but please do not sell. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Whack them with your parasol. Tell them. Yeah. So, yeah. I think that's it. So I'm going to sign off now unless there's anything else. It was really great talking to you and kind of going through this tutorial. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I think there's also, I think there may be a survey at the end for the panel as well. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what I can improve on, things like that. Yeah. Yep, panel feedback. So please give us feedback and we'll look at it and things like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this tutorial with y'all. So bye and happy Halloween. See ya.